Hi, I'm Barbara Rimkunis, and this is your Exeter History Minute. The early 20th century saw the growth of Catholic schools in the United States. Exeter was no exception. Public schools were available to all students at the time, and efforts to raise academic standards through teacher education had been moving forward for decades. So you might ask, why would Catholics want to incur the expense and responsibility of creating a parallel school system? Their beef with public schools had everything to do with what they saw as Protestant proselytizing during school. The class day was begun with a reading from the Bible, the King James Bible, that Catholics didn't use, and the recitation of the Lord's Prayer, which is also slightly different between Catholics and Protestants. There was concern that Catholic kids might lose their faith or assimilate into mainstream Protestantism. There were a few Catholic schools around the time of the Civil War, but the influx of immigrants in the early 20th century brought more Catholics and more Catholic kids into the mix. Parishes began to raise funds to run their own schools. The word we use, parochial, means parish or local. Most local parishes set up their own elementary schools. In Exeter, St. Michael's School opened in September of 1932. Costs were kept low by having the school staffed with teaching sisters, first the Sisters of Mercy and later the Sisters of Notre Dame. The sisters lived in a small convent right nearby the school. By 1934, there were 190 students enrolled. As you might have guessed, that had an impact on the public schools, which initially had to let some teachers go and shut down a few elementary schools. The school grew in the 1960s, adding on to the original building. There was a grotto out back to celebrate the annual May crowning. 2 generations of children in Exeter attended St. Michael's School between the years 1932 and 1972. Most of the graduates went on to attend public high school in Exeter until 1960, when St. Thomas Aquinas opened in Dover. Catholic high schools are organized by the diocese, so there are fewer of them to attend. Tuition for St. Michael's was shared between the parish and the parents. It ran to about $100 per family. By the 1970s, costs had risen, especially for the teaching staff, which had to be supplemented with lay teachers who required a higher salary than the sisters. And there were fewer teaching sisters available. Fewer young women were entering convent life. In 1971, Father John McQuaid and the town of Exeter agreed to an unusual plan to have dual enrollment. Some Exeter teachers would be used to supplement the religious staff. Now, the plan only lasted 1 year, and St. Michael's closed its doors as a parochial school in June of 1972, tossing 378 elementary-age kids back into the Exeter public school system. The voters almost immediately purchased the school, which was fairly well equipped, and it still stands today as Main Street School. For more information about Exeter's unique school history, visit our website at www.exeterhistory.org.